Today we're going to talk about coaching skills for leaders. So let me start sharing an experience. I was talking to one of my clients a couple of weeks ago. We were finishing the coaching process, and I asked her, if you had to summarize the process, what would you say about it? And she said, I went from fed up to fire up. And I said, oh, that sounds great. So how did that happen? And she said, well, now I am seeing new possibilities.
Great. Yeah.
New possibilities. So this is the work of the coach. As leaders, how we can offer that opportunity to people working for us. How we can create new possibilities so people can be inspired and willing to do what they need to do to be successful. So I would like to start by asking you if you have a question about coaching. So I want you to write down any question you may have about how to coach, or how to coach somebody who doesn't want to be coached, or coaching somebody challenging, or any question that you may have about coaching. And I will, without listening to your questions, I will see if I can answer them during this session. So if by the end I didn't, you can ask that question to me and I will answer the question for you. So let's start by defining coaching. And I know that some of you have the handouts, so I want to ask you not to read them, not to look at the answers to my questions. So the first question is, what is coaching? When you heard the word coaching, what comes up for you? What is coaching?
Helping people to know how to help themselves or others to do whatever it is they need to do.
So helping people to help themselves to accomplish their goals?
Yeah.
Great. What else? When you heard coaching, what is coaching?
I think it's helping someone develop into whatever it is. Just say in sports they have a coach, a football coach, that helps the player become a better player and understand the game.
Exactly. That is where the word coach came from, the sports. So from there it was taken to business. So exactly that's the metaphor. The coaching sports help the players to be effective and win the games. So in business it's similar. If the coach helps people to be effective to accomplish their goals. Now there is a definition of coaching, and I am involved with International Coach Federation. I have been a certified coach for many years. And actually, right now, I am the vice president of the International Coach Federation. But it's a great pleasure because it's an organization, non-for-profit, with 18,000 members in 105 countries. And the goal of this organization is to develop coaching awareness as a profession, and train coaches to get certifications that they have global recognition. And by the way, we are going to start at the center here a coaching program in a couple of months. Wow. So maybe you will be interested in participating. It's going to be a 4-month program with a certification, and we are working on getting the recognition from the International Coach Federation for that program too. Nice. So part of my work is to train coaches and to evaluate coaches to be sure that they have the skills to be able to do a good job. And when we are defining coaching, with the way that the ICF or International Coach Federation define coaching, is as a relationship that is creative and that is challenging, and the objective is to maximize people's potentials so they can accomplish their personal and professional goals. So as you said before, it's about helping people to help themselves, to accomplish their goals, to maximize their potential. And I really like to use the metaphor of coaching as helping people to go from one place to another. Originally, the word coach came from a Hungarian word that means courage. So as you can see, it's a good metaphor, the courage that takes somebody from one place to another. So that is a really great metaphor for us to think about coaching, how we can get people to go from where they are to somewhere else, where they want to go, and ideally where they need to go so the organization that you work for can accomplish their goals. So many times the goal of the leader and the coach is also helping people to align what is important to me to what is important to the organization. So let's talk about what are our goals for these 2 hours that we have together. I would like to start by defining what is coaching. We are going to talk about the strategies to build a trusting relationship. And we're going to say that trust is the foundation of the coaching relationship. As managers or as leaders, you can tell people what to do. But as coaches, for people to follow you, they need to trust you. So how do you build that trust? And many times, we don't spend enough time thinking about what we do to build that trust with people. So we are going to be talking about that. Then I'm going to share with you a model of coaching that you're going to practice. It's called the GROW model. So today you will have the opportunity to start implementing this model right away and see in which ways you have successes or challenges in implementing this model. Then we're going to talk about feedback and listening skills. And finally, we are going to craft a coaching plan where you leave today with some ideas and some activities to do after we finish the session today. So this is our agenda. Now, we define coaching as a process of equipping people with tools, knowledge, and opportunities they need to develop themselves and become more effective. This is one definition. This is from Peters in a book called Leader as a Coach that I highly recommend. And as you see here, there are some key words. What are the key words?
Equipping people.
Equipping people.
Develop themselves.
And be effective. Because at the end, people are developing themselves. We're giving the guidelines, we're giving the tools, but people are the ones who are responsible to take action. Can you see that? As I said before, the ICF, International Coach Federation, has a definition of coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Now let's start about developing trust. And I have a question. Since I stand up here and start talking to you only 5 minutes ago, what have I done to build trust with you?
Part is already the way you get introduced, and the way you introduce yourself is your credentials.
Mm-hmm. So in part, in the way that I was introduced, like somebody who has experience, I talk about my credentials, so I give you some information that gave me credibility.
Right.
Great. What else?
For me, it's all about your body language, how you're connecting with the group, how you're making eye contact with people, how you're smiling and keeping it very uplifting. Got your opera theater on, and I love that.
So the energy, the eye contact, the body language, that creates trust. What else?
You appear to be approachable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big issue in developing trust with one another. Sometimes people are standoffish. That's a person that you don't really want to trust. Sometimes people appear disinterested. So that's another person that you want to trust.
So how did they show interest? What did they do to show interest?
I think you kind of work the room a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, just being more personable, making contact. You know, so I think that was important in pulling me in to kind of have somewhat of a trust relationship with you.
Great.
I guess from a different angle, for me, I trust people until you give me a reason not to.
Okay, great.
So
that's really nice because many people do the contrary.
Yeah,
they don't
true.
trust anybody till they have a reason to trust.
Right.
So that gives you an advantage in terms of building relationship because you know what? For people to trust us, we need to trust them first. Mm-hmm. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We expect for people to trust us first, but if we don't trust them first, it's going to be more challenging for them to trust us, particularly people working for us. Now, in terms of building trust, something else that I did here was when I show interest and I ask you that question, is I ask you, think about the question, and I am going to be paying attention and I'm going to answer your question. So I was showing some interest in meeting your needs. So this is key in building trust. People wonder, how are you going to be paying attention to my needs? How important are my concerns, my ideas, my interests? So by showing interest in people, you build that trust. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I ask you that question because if we ask the people that are working for you, if they trust you, it will be interesting to see what they have to say. And probably from your whole team and everybody that is working with you, there are some people that trust you more than others.
Yeah, sure.
And that based on previous experiences. And many times a key indicator would be how willing they are to work with you and to do the extra mile. And you will see that different people in your team will behave differently. So we talked about how to build trust, but the question is, what is the way to lose that trust? So when do we lose that trust? What do you think are the key areas where we may have lost that trust from some people? What could have happened? What do you think? Inconsistencies, exactly. Particularly between what we say and what we do. And particularly, we are new in management. Because when we're new in management, we have a lot of great intentions, and we promise things, and then we cannot deliver. Not because we don't want to, but because something happened, and there are variables in the way that then led us to do what we say that we're going to be doing. So that consistency between what we say and what we do, that is the key to build trust. How it's called? How do we call that as a value? What is that value? That consistency between what we say and what we do. Integrity, exactly. Exactly. Integrity. It's about integrity. And this is one of the key values, it's one of the key things that I want you to pay attention in working as a leader. How is your integrity? How is the consistency between what you say and what you do? Now, I really like one author, it's called Stephen Covey. Do you know Stephen Covey? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's old, but it is not outdated. What he said in 1970 still, I think, has value. Particularly, he talked a lot about trust. And then his son kept working on that and has a book on it too. But the idea is that and I really like the metaphor he used about the emotional bank account. Have you heard about the emotional bank account? So what Stephen Covey said is that by behaviors that have integrity and are consistent, we build this emotional bank account of trust. But if we are inconsistent, we can take everything that was there and we can get in red. So now we had to start from scratch in building that trust. Now this conversation is important because if you don't pay attention to trust with your team, it's going to be very difficult that they will give you the authority to coach them. They can give you the authority to tell them what to do as the manager or the leader, but not as a coach. As a coach, they really need to